Welcome to the Guys Unpacked. This is Dre.
This is Rich, and we are back. Another episode for you guys. Want to thank all you guys for continuing to rock with us, and make sure that you follow us on all social media platforms at Guys Unpacked. And if you enjoy the episode, go ahead and subscribe so you can get all our notifications every time we got new episodes.
Click the bell, all that shit.
At YouTube, Guys Unpacked. Dre, all right.
Poppin'.
What's good, son?
Last time we were here, I was super excited about not getting any work done because of the World Cup.
All right.
Still haven't done any work. World Cup is exciting. We're out of the group stages. I think last week I was wearing my England jersey.
Yes.
Right?
One of the more recent episodes.
Right. We got out the group stages. We actually just
when you say we, you got to remind people that you're not talking about the U.S.
Yes, you're right. I'm English in this setting. But yeah, we got out and only downfall is that we're playing France next. So like that's gonna be an interesting game. But it's been exciting, man. It's been super exciting.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
My kid wants FIFA for Christmas.
You should buy it for her.
PS4. I mean,
you should buy it for her.
I'm gonna get it for her.
Like when I tell you, so I haven't played a video game in God knows how long, but like that's all I used to buy. Yeah. Only FIFA.
She randomly asked me for that yesterday, so I was like, "All right, baby, I'll get you. I'll get you. You should want 2K."
Does she have a favorite player, favorite team?
She just wants.
She just enjoys it. I love it. You should be excited that she's in love with the game.
Okay. I ain't kick up ball in so long though that I just don't. I don't got it. I don't have the love for it like that anymore.
It's exciting, man. It's exciting. But yeah.
What else been going on? She had real quick on Nyla update. She had her first gymnastics meet this week.
Gymnastics started back.
Gymnastics has started back. Her first meet was this past weekend. Okay. Came in second overall.
Nice.
Yeah, a couple of first place finishes, first place vault, first place floor.
Okay.
And so she's
got a future Olympian.
She's back in form. So I'll be busy the next couple of weeks until the season's done. But
I'm glad I'm not that kind of parent. But
I'm looking for. Wasn't one of your kids in karate?
Damn it.
You broke it.
You know what though? It doesn't matter.
You gonna figure this out?
Yep.
Yo, listen, you do what you gotta do, dog.
You really do. But no, like Cameron plays
he plays basketball, but he's also in karate.
Yeah, for a while, but just not quite the same.
You got it?
Did.
Oh, did you knock it all the way in?
That's all I'm trying to get, like, just enough. But yeah, go ahead.
So
I'll figure it out.
All right. Been watching a couple of new shows on TV.
Okay.
So I tuned into Wednesday because I've been hearing all the hype about it.
How is it?
It's okay. Like if you listen to the girls, it's the greatest thing.
Yeah.
I watched it. I didn't hate it. It was a cute little show, but I didn't jump. I wasn't all about it like a lot of people.
Yeah, 1 second. White boy.
Hey, yo, white.
Yo, let me get like a knife or a pencil or something to put this cork in this bottle.
So we had
So it's just all right.
To me, it was a cute little show, a cute little updated version of the Addams Family. So, but it's focused on Wednesday. It was decent, but nothing to rave about. At least from my perspective. Just cute little callbacks. They had Christina Ricci in it, so.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Dope.
So
Oh come on.
And Game of Thrones alum.
It's not trying to love me right now. It's got the slow drip. It's got the slow drip right now. Oh, there it goes.
What else?
So, did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah, I made all the way. I binged all the way through because it was all available. So I was like, I'm gonna sit through this.
You better than me, bro. Like.
I feel like once the show is there, I'm gonna.
That's like me and The Crown. I just watched the latest season of The Crown.
But you liked it, right?
I did.
Yeah, you got into it, so.
I did.
And I've heard it's good.
It is. And I don't know, like, I think we talked about it a little bit before, but it's one of those things where, like, I really don't care about the monarchy at all. Mm-hmm. But it's always interesting for me when they humanize something that I don't particularly have a good opinion on.
Right.
It helps me.
Because you remember that these are still people.
Right.
They're weirdos, but they're still people.
Right. Because quite honestly, we all need that too sometimes. Because people might look at us and be like, you're a fucking weirdo.
Right. And so, like I said, not that I've been meaning to watch it, but I've always heard good things. So I figured at some point it'll make its way onto my radar. It just hasn't.
And the historical context is dope too, because a lot of that shit happened when we were younger and would not really pay attention. I learned more about like that whole family and how it works.
Right.
And I was like, I actually understand why y'all are fucking crazy. It makes so much sense.
Very Game of Thronesy, but in real life.
Anyway.
So, on the topic of Game of Thrones again, honestly, after watching House of the Dragon, I went back and rewatched Game of Thrones.
The whole thing?
Yeah. Start to finish, even season 8, I hate it. I'm angry. I'm re-angered.
How do you have that much time?
No, it's not even about. It took a minute. It wasn't like. But then the problem is once you start binging, it's like, all right, I'm gonna go to bed, but one more episode.
Yeah.
And then I'm lying. You don't even have to click. It just automatically jumps to the next episode. And at least with Netflix, will ask you after a couple episodes, you still watch it. HBO will just play it.
That's true.
It's like. And it's not like if I miss one, I didn't go back. I just
okay.
I just owned it. Like, I slept through one, but it's cool. And it just re-angered me.
Wasn't. So like none of it was good?
No, not that. It was still.
It's just the way it tapered off.
Right. It's like when you watch it all the way through now I actually saw like the drop off in writing.
So remember when I watched it.
You binged it.
I binged the entire thing up until like right before the last season.
Right.
The only reason I watched the last season is because I'd already binged everything prior, and I was like, I can't not watch.
You have to see how it ends now.
Right. And but I was already like, this is really bad. It's getting worse.
It definitely fell off in the last 2 seasons, even before season 8.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to jump back into that, but I will say, Andor.
I don't know what that is.
Look,
that's that Star Wars shit, right?
It's a Star Wars show.
Nobody cares. It's
easily probably the best thing Star Wars has done in a long time. So it was like a surprise for me because I wasn't expecting it to be good.
Nothing about Star Wars was popping until The Mandalorian, and I was like, now I can finally watch some shit. And then when I asked you, is The Mandalorian better? And you were like, no,
right? But
like,
see, that was the thing.
Is the purest bullshit. I was
no, but that's not what I said. I said
I'm summarizing.
You're not even summarizing. You're misrepresenting.
You were like for like it would have to be someone who loves Star Wars,
right? But that wasn't what I said. I said that Andor is better.
Okay.
The Mandalorian is probably more entertaining to the casual viewer. So if you
you just summarized what I said,
right? But Andor is a much better show. Like
if you are a diehard Star Wars fan.
No. Like even not being a Star Wars fan.
Okay.
Just as a television show.
Sure.
The problem is if you're not a Star Wars fan, you probably won't understand what's going on. But if you're just talking about a quality of a show, much better. Better acting, better actors, better story.
I'm take your word for
like, yeah, it's 100% better. But again, you would have to be a Star Wars fan to even enjoy it.
And I'm not.
Duh. I saw some movie trailers.
Right.
And I'm like, who's greenlighting movies in Hollywood? There's cocaine there.
So it's based on a true story, though.
Did you see the trailer?
I did.
There's no way that trailer actually happened. I believe that maybe some shit happened where a bear probably ate cocaine. I didn't look it up.
Yeah, no, it did.
Right.
I looked it up.
Right. But that trailer, though, and what that bear was doing did not happen in real life.
I'm so interested in I'm so interested in seeing how it plays out.
Dog, I will not. I'll hear that one. I'm
not going to pay to watch it, but
no, I don't even think I can watch it for free.
I'm watching it for free. I'm watching it for free because on the real,
how high are you going to have to be to watch it?
Not high at all, actually.
You don't watch that sober?
Yes, dog. So my favorite part of the trailer was when they were like, bears can't climb trees. I was like, have you not watched Winnie the Pooh? Like, they can. They totally can.
Dog.
And then they climbed the tree. I was like, they're going to get eaten.
No, the fact that Winnie the Pooh was the reference, though. Like, not any nature show. Not like anything real.
But it was on purpose. Yeah, because I was like, at the very least, you watched Winnie the Pooh. Like, at the very least.
Yeah, but that shouldn't be your frame of reference.
But bears can climb trees.
Dog, I don't know, son. I saw that trailer. I watched it twice. And I was like,
yo, it looked exciting to me. And I think part of it too was because you can tell the writers
were high.
Probably. But aside from them being high, you can tell they embedded like that dry humor into it. Mm-hmm. And I enjoy that kind of humor.
Dog, they use the guy that does the customer service memes on Instagram.
I don't know that.
Okay. You don't social media as much as I do.
I do not.
The very first guy in it, and I'll show you the memes later, but he's Instagram comedian. I don't know if he does comedy other than Instagram, but he would do these funny memes where he's like the customer service rep.
Okay.
Anyway, so when I saw him, I was like, oh, they, good, got a break or whatever. But he is that same dry type of humor, so that's definitely embedded in the movie.
It's gonna be fucking hilarious.
Again.
You're not gonna watch it. I get it.
It will have to find me like Airplane, nothing else.
The amount of shit you watch, I'm sure you'll see it at some point.
I just barely watched Morbius the other day after years.
I haven't even watched that shit.
Don't.
I wasn't planning on it.
Don't. But the trailers had me just realizing that there's just nothing new because it's like they're doing a Super Mario Brothers movie. Which
are they?
Cartoon though, like completely animated, 3D animated. I'm gonna take my kid to see it. The trailer looks good. I'm gonna take my kid to see it. They're doing another Transformers.
That's the one that has like King Kong type Transformer, right?
Right.
Because I didn't see the trailer, but I saw the I want to say it was the movie image or like the poster.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that King Kong? But then I saw Transformers. I was like,
somebody at I think it was Mo had asked me like if I saw it. It's like, so what do you think? I was like, dog, I'm not gonna go see it. And I was like, I don't even know if the trailer looks good because the problem is it didn't look different from the others, and the last two were trash.
And Shia LaBeouf isn't in anymore, is he?
Not for years.
Right.
Not for like the last two. Like
I feel like it fell off after him.
Yeah, that was the last good one. Literally, that was the first three were good, and then the last two were like, all right, please stop.
I tried to watch Bumblebee, and I was like, this is bad.
Yeah, Bumblebee was bad, and unfortunately, Bumblebee was better than the other two. And Bumblebee wasn't good. So
it was not.
Yeah. But apparently they got another one greenlit. So this is going to be like the 6th or 7th if you're counting Bumblebee. It's like Fast and Furious. No matter how bad they get, they're going to keep making them.
You really hate Fast and Furious.
I hate Fast and Furious.
At least you know what you're getting into with Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I'm not. That's what I know. I know. That much I know. I'm not going to go see it anymore.
Touché.
But yeah, that's what's happening now. They're just remaking old stuff and
just like shoes.
New Indiana Jones.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who's gonna be in it?
It's still Harrison as Indy.
Yeah. How?
Bruh.
He's like 100.
Yeah, he's still Indy, son.
He's still. I'm going to see it just because of that now.
No, he's in.
Really?
When you get done, watch the trailer.
I thought you were going to say it's gonna be like Chris Pratt or something like that.
Nope.
Really?
Harrison Ford still playing Indy.
Are they going like AI?
CG? No.
When you look like old man.
When we're done, look at the trailer, dog. A regular Harrison Ford at his age of 105 right now.
Does he have a walker? A cane?
Watch the trailer when we're done.
I can't wait.
Right, dog. That's what I said. I saw it. I was like, oh, we are just resurrecting every old property we can because there is nothing new coming. Everything coming out in 2023 is a property that already exists. So at least from what I've seen, I have
sure.
And then there's Cocaine Bear. It's
the only original content.
Right. It's like Foolishness and Cocaine Bear. That's what the movie industry has come to. So new Avatar coming out next week that I'm not going to go see because I hated the first one. So
you lost with Avatar.
Dog. And then they took a million years to make the second one, so even worse. Like I don't even fondly remember the first one, so it's not going to happen. All right. What else is going on? Mele. Did you see they canceled?
I did. I got the email.
So they canceled the April cruise. They were going to do a cruise in April.
Yep.
And they were going to do the destination that they did last year in September.
This year, not last year. We went this year in April.
Yeah, what's this? Well, I mean, this year isn't done yet. We still got to. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
So I think it was a good move.
It was the only move that I thought made sense, only because there was no way I was going. Remember, I said I wasn't going on a cruise regardless. Like I didn't care. I wasn't going on.
Yeah, but you weren't going on any cruises,
right? But also, I feel like they had the biggest mistake happen, but for a good cause, right? Like they didn't plan on destination,
right?
They planned on cruise originally,
and they adjusted. COVID
happened. They had to adjust, and they should have realized that, this actually makes sense for us to do this. And then they, in my opinion, they got fucking greedy and said, you know what? We're going to do that again because it did make sense, and we're going to still do a cruise. For fucking what, bro? COVID, as much as we say COVID's done, it's not actually done yet.
You know what, though? I think I agree, because I remember a lot of people who were there were saying that, I know I said, like, they need to just keep this like this. This was fun. This was a good time. And some of the people who have done other cruises and did this said, yo, this was great.
Sure.
I think because they started as a cruise, decided that they wanted to still try that. And then, but because the destination, so many people loved it, they're like, well, we can't abandon this. So the goal was now to try to squeeze both in. But
and the world let them know, sit your ass down and keep it destination.
But here's the other thing too, right? There's 2 other cruises in April.
Okay. Because Uber is doing 2 cruises now, right?
Uber is doing 3. They're doing 2 in November.
But when I say 2, I mean like 2 separate times.
And 1 in April.
Yeah.
And then some crew from New York is doing a cruise with like Skinny and like Spice.
Like that market is oversaturated.
Right. And all 3 were going to be in April. And then Jamaica is...
With what people?
Right. Because then Jamaica... Well, I don't know. I don't know if they're pulling people or not, but...
The amount of people you have to pull for a fucking cruise?
Right.
Just not enough.
I guess we'll see when they actually set sail.
Like everybody from the Caribbean would have to actually, and of Caribbean descent, would have to attend all 3 of them in order for them to work out.
Right. So that was the thing. There were 3 of them and Jamaica Carnival.
Right.
Thrown in the middle.
I'd rather Jamaica.
So that's the thing. I think Uber, I don't know if this was the reason. I don't know if it was sales. Because even in reading the email, it gave the indication that maybe they were looking at sales like, all right, we're going to pull the plug on this. We're not even going
right.
to. But I'm wondering how the other 2 are doing. If they're looking at their sales and thinking, should we keep going? Especially now that Mele has pulled out of the competition. Are they thinking?
Who knows? I think the beauty behind Tribe is that their brand is so much bigger than just that one event that they can afford to take the L even from a PR standpoint. I don't think anybody was actually knocking them for canceling.
No.
But like, because Uber, like that's all they do. And I don't even know who the other person is.
I think Yuma's involved with Uber too though.
Okay, but still though, their brands are not as big as the Tribe brand. So
and Marshall, like when you think about just
right. So Tribe is good by being able to do that and still sell their destination out without issue.
Because they also immediately told like, hey, you can either transfer it to the destination or get a refund. Whereas like when COVID hit and
Uber was like, we're not giving you on nothing.
Uber, I mean, I think they eventually refunded people. Like, wait, how long did it take you? Like, dog,
a year?
Dog, they were not refunded. I remember I have a friend right now will not go on Uber at all.
Because of that.
Because of that. She was like, no, bad taste. I'm not doing it. So she won't even talk about it. It's not if that's the only cruise happening, she ain't going nowhere. That's her mindset with regards to
I had seen videos of Uber anyway, and I was like, yeah, it just doesn't seem like my kind of party.
No, I mean, I would go. It looked like it's fun. I just wasn't going. I'm not going in April. So I would go, and I would probably go November. I haven't decided. I'm not going in April. I know that. Because
I'm not going anyway. Like I remember when I saw a video of someone who had taken a mattress out of the whatever cabin.
I did see that.
And then the mattress ended up in the party.
I did see that.
And that's short. The vibe seems real dope, right?
Yeah.
But as the adult in the room,
yeah,
I'm like, so what happens when the party's done?
Dan, you're thinking too much, right?
Dog, like if that was my room.
If that was now, here's the thing. Then the odds that it was your room.
No, I get it,
right? So I'm like, as long as it's not my room, and then even if it was, then I'm going to like the crew. Like, hey guys, so apparently. Not the people who took it. I'm going to like the crew of the ship.
I know.
Like, hey guys, so
I need a mattress.
I need a mattress,
and they'd be like, "Tough luck. You're gonna sleep on the hardwood because like box springs. Like you're sleeping on the hardwood.
We gotta figure something out though. We gotta figure something out. Especially if I didn't. Now you gotta think someone gave a mattress.
Oh, they did that to try to be viral, like to try to go viral.
So if you took your mattress out there, and that's how it ended up.
But like, and I think even with that, right? Like, I don't particularly want to party with people that are doing that kind of shit.
I have no problem with that. Another thing, that's what you're like. I would 100%, and I'm not even thinking about the whole match. That's 100% my kind of party.
I totally know.
But yeah, I was just like, so I said I'll probably do November, maybe, but I'm just not thinking that. I'm not thinking about November now.
Yeah.
I didn't think about Mele because I was like, I've been there. I know what that's about. I'm definitely
doing it again.
So I'm not even gonna have to weigh my options with that one.
Sure.
When is it? Let me know. I'm coming. But
what are the dates in September? Is it early, mid, late?
Early.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like what would be right after Labor Day, or
you know me, like I'm gonna
you'll
wait till the end.
You'll try to buy a ticket in August.
Probably.
And
it's just like I did this year,
and then have to pay for a full room by yourself and shit. Like,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
figure it out.
So with that, but that was the first domino to fall for 2023. Is Mele. I'm wondering how the rest of the year is going to look, because I think a lot of people had the mindset that next year is going to be this epic year. Yeah. And I think that those expectations are kind of starting to come back to reality. For example, when you look at like Trinidad, a lot of parties that would typically have sold out like instantly, other than Ryan stuff, a lot of them, there's still tickets available. Like I've been going online and it's like, oh, this is still selling.
So I think that there are a couple things. I think one, people are still waiting to see what else is going to drop, because there's still more parties that are going to drop. Right. So I think there's that part of it. So like the Ryan Fete, I don't want to miss that, because that is a staple event. But like, for instance, I know you hate them, but Soca only just dropped last week, right? I know, that's what I already said. I know you hate them, right? But that's going to be the same kind of thing with a lot of parties. Mental just dropped. I don't even know if they started selling tickets, but Mental just dropped at least a flyer last week as well. So it still has a bunch of parties to drop that are core parties. I think a lot of the parties that are showing right now are new parties and not like the no matter what, this is going to sell out kind of parties.
Okay. Because I was even looking at it, like, I think for the most part, at least the seasoned carnival attendees, they have it in their head what they're going to. They're just waiting to make sure.
Right.
So I think with those, you still get the people who just know, okay, when this drops, I'm gonna get my ticket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
it's also a lot of motherfuckers not be able to get there.
That's the part that I was gonna get to.
I've been seeing these airline tickets.
That's the part I was getting to, though.
I was like,
right.
If I hadn't bought my ticket already, I would find a way to spend it. But I've been seeing all kind of 3,000 and change. To Trinidad.
Yeah, like that. Those are real numbers, and I'm like. And so even looking at like Bacchanal weekend, which typically the plane tickets are considerably less.
Because you're coming back before.
Those are expensive too, though.
Because people are realizing they have to come in a whole week, 2-3 weeks before.
Yeah, because them tickets for Bacchanal weekend are also up there. So I think the between the increased prices and then for a lot of people, this looming recession that everyone is predicting, I think has a lot of people kind of like pulling back on saying, okay, you know what? Let me wait. Let me not either let me wait or let me just not do this. Now you'll get the people who it may get closer, and people who are maybe a little bit more comfortable to make last minute decisions might catch a little FOMO mid-January and say, you know what? Let me just go. But I think a lot of people are being more cautious this year about their spending. Because like I said, I know quite a few people who have said, I'm just going to sit this one out.
Got mine, better get your... Like, I knew from before, right? Like, and granted, part of it is because I just love Carnival anyway, right? Like, we all know that. But I knew from before, we didn't have 21. We didn't have 22.
Right.
The moment that I saw Trinidad starting to open up,
for 23.
I was like, no, I mean, just the borders open up.
Oh, yeah.
Then it made it more clear that 23 is going to happen.
Right.
So then at that point, as soon as it was available to buy the one-way ticket, I'll buy it now.
Right.
And then as soon as it's available for me to buy the one-way back, I'll buy it now. And I was complaining about the two that I got that collectively was maybe $600. I happy about my price? No.
Right. Well, we're gonna see how this Carnival situation actually works out next year.
I mean, so the part for me though, and you kind of hit it though, is like, so I think Trinidad's gonna be fine, right? Trinidad's gonna be great because but between the core people that live there anyway,
right,
plus
the people who will
pay regardless, right? Some people already got flights. Some people will pay regardless because they just don't want to miss it.
Right.
Trinidad's gonna be fine.
And then there is also the possibility that as it gets closer, if people aren't buying, some of those prices may start to come down as it gets closer.
Sure.
So yeah.
But the whole carnival hopping kind of culture
that is
coming out now. It's like, I don't know too many people that can actually afford to do like a Trinidad and then a Jamaica and then Barbados and then Grenada and St. Lucia.
Right. Well, yeah, all of the summer carnivals. So, and that's the thing. That's what I was saying. I'm curious to see. Now, those carnivals will still happen because they're local.
Without doubt.
But then you'll get a lot of the things, the getaway here, the this or the that are going to have to fall by the wayside because they came into existence as alternatives to carnival.
Right.
So like when I see some of these people who are jumping on these weekend events, now I'm like, okay, is it smart to still try to do this weekend event now that that's no longer, because it was all we had at the time.
Right. And a lot of times they still didn't pop.
Some of them didn't pop. I remember last year there was two at the same time, and I was watching some videos from one. I was like, oh, ain't nobody there, bro. You know what I mean? So it was like, I'm wondering how many of those promoters are still going to even attempt that this coming year. Like,
I'm just trying to hedge bets to see like if by closer to the time airfare is low enough for me to go and buy some last minute tickets to go to these places. Because I want a carnival hop. I want to. But I'm not doing it like at a premium. No. I'm only doing it at a discount.
I've got in my head my list for this coming year. It's gonna be Trinidad. Obviously Hooky Weekend because that's here.
Right.
But I'm counting that as one because it's like a full weekend I have to just devote to it. Mele.
Okay.
And Trinidad for Independence.
You're not missing that ever again.
Never again. Never again.
Dog, I'm still washing red out of my ass right now, dog.
The red on the clothes that it's still there. Like I have some shoes that are now ruined.
Bro.
I'm like, you know what? I'm just wear those again next year. I left them in Trinidad specifically for that.
I have some too, and like those are just Juve sneakers now. Like
that's all they are now. That's all. And the thing is, I have other sneakers I've worn to other Juves that I washed clean. Even bad. Right, exactly. They have like maybe a dot. Those are pure red. So I'm definitely doing that. And that's it. Like I know I always talk about like, oh, I want to hit a summer carnival, etc. But then I feel like the time creeps up on me. And then like from now to Trinidad, that's all I'm focused on. Once that's done, now I'm not thinking about from February, hotel, airfare, tickets to fets. How am I getting around?
I might pull a Jamaica. I mean, it'll be a game time decision, but I might do a Jamaica. Because I honestly enjoy Jamaica, and I haven't done it for the last few years. Now, granted, each year was getting bigger, and that was one thing I didn't like. So that I might get down there and be like, this is way too big. I love the fact that Jamaica was like a mini Trinidad. It was very inexpensive, and it was only a couple parties per day. So everything did well.
Right.
I heard that Trinidad came in and tried to take over and did a whole bunch of extra shit. So
I don't think it's that Trinidad. I only did Jamaica once, but they do have a lot of the core events of Jamaica.
Yeah, on Trinidad.
Are Trinidad events. It's like Ambush Trinidad and Brainwash Trinidad, and then I think Meds is also in Jamaica. So there's a lot of kind of a lot of the staple parties that you can find other places. Yeah. There was Suits. Was it Suits?
Suits was there.
Suits was there. Silent Morning was there. So I had fun. I didn't not have fun in Jamaica, but I also don't. To me, Jamaica would be if I have to miss Trinidad, then I'll go Jamaica.
Nah.
That's me. Like
for me, Jamaica is right after Trinidad is Lent, and you're behaving yourself, and you're fasting, and your alms giving, and you're praying.
But I'm not though.
Not you, but me.
Okay.
And then Easter come. And the week after is peace.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just all up in the debauchery the entire time. I don't really care.
Because when I get back, it's PCP. So
true.
Right. So I can't Lent.
I'm still salty about that young lady who talked shit about my set from PCP, like however many years ago. I'm still salty.
Bruh. Let it go.
I can't.
So, all right. So we got the plan for next year. On to bigger and better right now that that's done. Quick question for you. Saw this on the Shade Room, and a friend posted it, and I saw it on the Shade Room.
Okay.
And I wanted to ask, I want to get the exact wording. Hang on. It says,
sorry.
It says, asking who the father is very wild thing to ask when you find out someone is pregnant. A very wild and personal thing.
Why?
And I just thought that was an interesting take on that situation.
So was your friend the one who posted it? Were they in favor of this, or were they just posting?
She just posted it jokingly because
was she pregnant?
No.
Oh, so I guess it depends on the relationship you have with the person who's pregnant. Like how cool you are.
Mm-hmm.
I personally, if you my people,
right,
you show up pregnant, you don't got a man that I know of at least,
okay,
or a husband,
okay,
then you show up pregnant.
But like show up where? Like what do you mean show up? Like where?
Like I see you with a belly now.
Okay. But so that's
and I know you're not like
right. So that's my question, right? That's why I think it is personal. So finish your example real quick.
I'm gonna say, like, if I know you, if we cool enough, I know you. You show up with a fucking belly.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations, I think. And that's and literally I'll be like, I sometimes I ask, are congratulations in order?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know sometimes they're not really wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, never know.
Okay.
And then afterwards, I've been dying to ask you, like, who is the Faja? I don't mind asking that question. But again, if it's somebody I'm cool with.
Okay. Here's why I agree with this statement.
Okay.
Right. So I learned my lesson a long time. I would never do that thing that you just did.
I know you would.
Because there was one point.
She wasn't pregnant, was she?
Right. I think I told you. No lie, son. Learned my lesson. So
I knew exactly based on what you said.
I don't know if I told you the story already. I can't remember, but basically, wasn't me. It was a younger, stupider person who looked and sounds and has the same name as me, but he was much younger, much stupider, right? And I know I said stupider.
Smaller.
Yes, scrawny little dude.
Right.
In the army, and there was a young lady that worked at the Popeyes across from our barracks. And one time I saw her.
Sure.
And again, I had been there for a while, so I had seen her smaller. And after not seeing her for a little while, I saw her, and she looked to be.
She was eating that Popeyes though.
And so, and like all of it, when I say look to be, I mean all of it was in the Bay region.
But it was all belly though?
That was the problem.
She didn't get anywhere.
No, she did. But a lot of it was so because sometimes.
But you can tell typically.
No, yeah, right. Typically you can. I couldn't. That's what I'm saying. Typically you can tell when it's just weight gain. This did not look like
her belly was round.
It was starting to poke that way. Put it like this. Just not to draw this out.
Please draw it out.
No. Not to draw it out. She legitimately looked like she was. That's as far as I'm going to go with this, right? So anyway, I went ahead and did what you just congratulated. And she was like,
on what? On your position. You got your manager now.
Right.
You graduated from cashier to manager, right?
Right.
I saw a picture of the manager. No, shit.
That's foot in mouth.
What did she say?
She was like, I'm not right. So I was like,
did you ever go back?
Yeah. So
I'd have too much shame. I'd never go back.
So
I'd never fucking go back.
Long story short, saw her again a little while later. And she had lost it. And
the
she
baby?
said...
I'm sorry. She miscarried the Popeye. Sorry, go good.
You dumb. You dumb.
Oh God. I wasn't ready.
Clearly, son. Clearly.
You fucking drooling.
Yo, dog.
Oh shit.
You gonna be alright, Joe.
Sorry, go ahead. She
Nah,
lost
I'm
it.
gonna give you a minute, dog.
She lost it. She lost it.
And she go, when she saw me, she gonna hit me with the, nah, so she saw me at a party, and she looked good at this party. I was like, hey, how you doing? She'd be like, oh, I don't look pregnant anymore. Yes.
You know what? You probably kickstarted her progress.
Son.
She was probably like, I'm out here looking like a fucking pregnant. I need to lose it.
Son, probably, because that was the first words out her mouth.
Damn.
When I said, hey, she's like, oh, so I don't look pregnant anymore?
But then after that, what'd you say?
I was like, yo, I again apologize.
Oh, come on, man. Like, you'd already apologized. You got it. Like, you ain't hit her with a line? You ain't hit her with a line to like...
No, because again, I was still embarrassed from even assuming. So, no, there was no lines to be...
So the ignorant in me would have been like, oh, you lost? Did you lose the baby? Like, I would have said some stupid shit like that. No, because we know that she wasn't actually pregnant. I would have to break the ice some way. Look at your eyes. I would have had to.
I thought what I said was bad.
You fucking suck.
I thought what I said was bad. You was gonna double down.
You got to, bro.
No, you don't. That's what I did. I did not. You absolutely don't have to double down. No, you have to. Nah, bro. I'm happy with the approach I did.
Yeah, at least get white.
There's a I think.
Okay.
I think I did that. I can't remember. It was, but like this again. This was in the Army, and that was my first. This was in California. This was my first duty station. You. So yeah, like I said, no, that's what I said. It's so long ago. It wasn't me, son. It was a younger, smaller, dumber person who just happens to look like me. So back to the original point, right?
Sure.
So I would never even ask or assume, right?
Okay.
Now, my thoughts on the whole thing is, if we are not cool enough for me to know if you have a boyfriend or not at the time, then that means it's none of my business if you are. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, all of my friends who may pop up pregnant, I would know at least they're dating, they're seeing someone, whatever. So for me, there wouldn't be a reason to ask because...
You would assume.
Right, that it's with the person I know you to be with. So even if you just pop up and you're, let's say, because, you know, women get knocked up for people all the time who they're not with, right?
Sure.
If that happens, I'm definitely not asking because I don't know you to have a boyfriend. So I actually don't want to, I actually don't even want to know this story on how this happened. So no, I'm not even going to assume you're pregnant. That's where we're going to start. Right. I may actually more quickly, if we have a mutual friend who I think may know, be like,
you ask them.
Hey, is it just me? Or, you know what I'm saying? I'll do that before I ask you directly. I don't care because I would rather you tell me, no, she just put on some weight. I'd be like, oh shit, good thing I did.
Right.
I would rather do that than to ask you.
Yeah.
Now,
I think I'm good enough, and granted, I might not be perfect, but I think I might be good enough to determine if it's like baby weight versus...
Right. No. But I'm saying we're taking the is she or is she not pregnant out the window, right?
So she is pregnant.
Is definitely pregnant.
For sure.
Right, we know for sure. I'm not asking who the fuck, because like I said, I do feel like if we are so cool that I can't ask you,
you would know.
Then I should already know. So if I don't already know, then you know what? We probably ain't that cool, and it ain't my business.
I don't care.
That's the way I look at it.
I'm still asking.
So that's why I'm like, we a little bit different on this. I do agree that I feel like if I'm a person who is pregnant, if I'm a pregnant woman, and you feel the need to ask me,
very strong pregnant woman.
Strong woman, just get pregnant too. But I'm saying though,
would you?
Like if I'm a pregnant woman,
yeah,
and you have to ask me,
sure,
that means we probably not that cool because you would already know. So I get where this person's coming from.
Yeah,
from that perspective, it's kind of like that saying where it's like, if we have a problem, call me and talk to me about it.
Yeah. If
you don't have my number, then we're not cool enough for you to have a problem with.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's always, nuance there. But I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. So on the topic of that though, since we're talking about pregnancy, you know what? Nah.
No, go ahead now. Let's go ahead.
No. We're gonna get to that one. Because I still wanna get to that, but we're gonna get to that later.
Okay.
So all right. Off of that. what's been going on in the world of news, sports, pop culture? Of course, we got to start with Coach Prime.
Neon Deion.
Coach Prime.
He caused a lot of uproar this week.
Actually,
last 2 days. Today's Monday. So
a lot of people have a lot to say about Coach Prime. So for anybody who didn't know, Deion Sanders was the coach of Jackson State University.
He still is.
Currently is the coach of Jackson State University, HBCU. Just accepted a job at Colorado. And some black folk lost their minds.
A lot of black folk lost their minds.
A good number of black folks lost their minds. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
So I'm kind of torn. I think first and foremost, I think everybody's got to do what they got to do.
Okay.
So end of the day, he's going to make the decision that's best for him and his family.
Right.
And I can't knock him for that.
Okay.
Whether I agree with it or not, I can't knock him for that. I liken it to when LeBron left the Cavaliers and went to Miami.
The decision.
Remember, had to do the decision, right? And from a PR standpoint, after I saw it, I was like, that was the worst thing he could have done from a PR standpoint.
Yes.
Right? Like, quite honestly.
Even he agrees with that.
Yeah. Like, quite honestly, if you were going to do that, it should have been to be like, I'm staying home and get everybody excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
But still, his decision, his family, he got some rings out of it. Can't really knock him for it.
No, not at all.
Also would not have knocked him if he had just gone and just never did the hoopla. But I get it. Like, people make decisions based off of where they are.
Right. And I think most people would agree with you that most of the criticism came from the way he did it versus him just doing it. Because teams will trade you all the time.
Right.
If a team can get something for you and then you got to pick uproot and move your family unwillingly. Like, that was not your intention. You bought a house and now you're here. Hey, how do you feel about New York?
He was also the best player in the NBA.
Right.
So it's a little bit different. But I'm with you though.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if he wasn't, there's
without a thought in mind. Sometimes you get that notice at the end of the game you're playing.
Dog, Ilgauskas on the same team went to Miami. And he got no flack because he was not LeBron.
Sure.
But people didn't realize, like, he was on that Cleveland team with LeBron and went to that Miami team with him very quietly under the radar.
Gotcha.
Now, I don't know if he was traded or because I just remember seeing him. I was like, yo, nobody's fussing about this.
Right.
So I get that you have to do what's best for
you and your family. So when it comes to prime time, he undoubtedly did something amazing by using his platform to at least speak into existence the fact that there are HBCUs that really, really great recruits can go to and dominate and still make their way to the NFL, right? Which I think is important because it was always, I think, an unsaid thing, but people knew it, right? Like, even for my graduating class, Antoine Bethea came out of Howard and went to the Colts, won a Super Bowl ring, right? Like, and played, I think it was like 14 seasons or 13 seasons in the league, right? So it's very possible. I think Shannon Sharp talked about it as well. He went to Savannah State or something like that.
Savannah State, yeah.
Came out or whatever. The thing is this, though. Typically, you got to be an animal of an athlete. You got to be an amazing athlete, typically, to go to an HBCU, dominate in that space, and still be seen and picked up by the league. Whereas going to a PWI, like,
or not even just any PWI, but a school that's
like a big D1 school, like, that's where you're gonna get the looks. So I appreciate what Deion did from that standpoint. He was able to bring what's his name? What was his number one recruit? It was like,
I can't remember the name, but the one that's going with him,
right. He was able to bring him in to Jackson State, which is awesome because he was a number one recruit.
Travis Hunter.
I was about to say Tyler or something. I was like, I know it's a T and an H. Okay, yeah. So great that he was able to bring him in there. I think from a strategic standpoint, I would have appreciated if Deion stayed with Jackson State for at least 4 years.
Okay.
Right? The length of time from the first freshman that he brought in till they should have graduated. Because granted, it's possible they could have hopped out.
He did 3.
But it's not 4.
Right. It's not.
And the reason why I said 4 in particular is because at least you're there for the entirety of a graduating class.
Right.
Right? He never said that he was staying at Jackson State. Matter of fact, he actually said that if he got an offer from, he would look at it, right? So I can't knock him for any of that, but I think that the difficulty is, like you just actually brought up, he goes to Colorado. Great package for him. He's going to be able to do a lot more Colorado than he does at Jackson State, so we're not knocking that. But as he leaves for Colorado, he's also taking part of Jackson State. And granted, he brought him to Jackson State,
right?
But he's taking from Jackson State. So the whole you can build something at HBCU is great, but it then ends up being contingent of you being there. So it's like by you tying yourself to it and then leaving and then taking the same thing that you brought to the university, it kind of shoots your whole pitch out the window to a point. And again, I'm not knocking him because he got to do what he got to do.
Right.
But that's the only piece I'll kind of be like, you left a little bit of a stain on that part of your legacy. But
I don't even think it's necessarily a stain on his legacy, but I get what you're saying.
Right. And ultimately, I think that over the next few years, we'll really see if more big recruits go to HBCUs. And if they do, then that stain will be completely removed and it won't be a thing for me to talk about because I'd be like, you know what?
Right.
He actually helped to bring a lot more people to HBCU football.
Right.
Can't say shit.
Okay.
But it's just too soon to tell.
Right. Yeah, I don't actually have any difference of opinion because I feel the same. I feel like he did what was best for him.
Right.
And I feel like for the people who are criticizing him, you got to remember, he was making, and we're not even saying it's about the money, right?
Sure.
But let's be honest.
$300,000.
He was making $300,000 a year.
And actually donated most of it back to the university.
He donated at least half of it back to, not even just to the university, to fix their facilities.
Yeah.
Right? So he gets to a school that needs their facilities fixed just to be viable, right?
Yeah.
And now he's going to be making $5 million a year.
Yeah.
So that alone is reason enough.
Sure.
For most people to say, I'm going to the better job, you know? So yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to knock a man.
Oh, not at all.
For making a decision, even if it was just purely, even if you take everything else out of the equation and said, yeah, it's a financial decision. No one's offering me that money right now. So I can't sit here and say, I would definitely stay here with this. You know what I mean?
But not even only that. Like, I mean, think about it. We're talking about Neon Deion, who was used to a certain lifestyle anyway, right? And granted, he could afford it, but he was used to a lifestyle money-wise. Took technically something that's way lower than he's worth in that space. Granted, he's the first-year coach at that point too,
right?
So like
but I don't really think even the income was an issue.
No, I know, right? but I'm actually adding to your point though, right? Like you take him from there, he is willing to do it, forego most of his salary. So it's really not even a case of I need this money. I'm doing this because I see the value in this,
right? And
then decides to your point, take that salary that's actually going to be beneficial for him for whatever, right? Like. And we don't know what he's going to do with that money. He could very easily still continue donating money to Jackson State because he sees the value in HBCUs. And of course, I'm just throwing it out there. But we can't knock a man for making a decision for him.
Right. So that's point number one, right? So even if it was purely financial, I don't think anyone should be judging him for making that decision. But there's also an opportunity part of it where they were saying nobody from an HBCU has ever gotten one of these jobs. Like you never see a coach go from an HBCU, get a job at a Big 5 school.
Yeah.
So like just from that perspective alone, it's like, why would I turn this down when this is something that typically doesn't come along? Now, there was talk, I remember last week when they first started talking about the Colorado might make an offer, some of the analysts were saying, there's going to be better jobs to come along. So not that they didn't want him to leave in general, they were saying, maybe not this job. So maybe there would have been better jobs down the line. But the bottom line is he was this was a stepping stone for him.
Sure.
This was first foray into coaching, started with an HBCU, but he told them up front, like you said, I will entertain offers from bigger universities because he wants to coach.
Yeah.
And you're not just giving me the money, but you're putting me on a bigger stage, better competition, better recruits, potentially.
Better facilities.
Better resources.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually moving up in my chosen career. So beyond just the money, why would you knock me for doing that?
Right.
But the caveat is for the people, the detractors, and maybe this isn't even necessarily their argument, but here's my only issue. I think that a lot of people, and you and I have discussed this, when we talked about shifting the landscape a little bit. We were talking about with students going to HBCUs. I think we actually talked about it, talking about Coach Prime the last time we talked about it.
Okay.
And how a lot of these other institutions, well, their football programs bring in so much capital to the school, to the point where some of these schools are really just football programs that teach classes.
Without doubt.
They're not even really schools, right?
Yeah.
So when you have HBCUs historically underfunded, like you said, they didn't even have proper facilities. He had to donate from his own paycheck just to get them facilities. He had to leverage, I learned today, he had to leverage a lot of his own capital to get certain things for them. Uniform stuff for when they were traveling with. He leveraged his relationship with Michael Strahan, with American Airlines, with some other places, just to get different things for the school and the facility that really he only got because of who he was and his already established relationships. So he did bring a lot to this institution. But the problem becomes now, okay, like Shannon Sharp was saying, like he built this blueprint showing that, okay, an HBCU can be a viable option for your child. You don't have to, if you want your kid to succeed, you don't have to send them to one of these schools. You can send them to an HBCU. They can then build up the reputation of this HBCU.
Sure.
But then you leave. And you take with you literally everything you've built up. Because everything that you've built up, you didn't really set up a blueprint for how to do it, because you're the greatest cornerback to ever play football.
You are the asset.
You leveraged your relationships to bring a lot of those things there.
That's right.
You took half of your money and donated it into it because you came into it in a position where you could already afford to do that.
Right.
Somebody just starting, if I get a job as a head coach at a college, I can't give them half my money to the facility. I'm not just saying me. I'm saying most people, if that's their job and that's their income, they can't afford to just do that. He already was established, so he could. So a lot of what you're taking when you leave is potentially just going out the window, because now
it's an extension of him.
Right. As a recruit, I'm not looking at Jackson State anymore.
Nobody is.
I'm as a parent, I would have sent my kid to play for Coach Prime.
Sure.
Now I'm like, well, you're going to Colorado now because that's where he is, you know? It's
funny you say that, right? The parent piece, because I would be livid, particularly as a parent. Now, if my kid was a average football player, and would have really just been getting a scholarship to Jackson State anyway, or HBCU anyway, no big deal. But I'm not even gonna say if my kid was a number one recruit.
If you had a top level,
if I had still a top level recruit that, it might not have been an FSU or a Ohio State or Michigan, but would have gotten a scholarship to Maryland, right? Like, and I'm gonna be fucking livid if my kid went to Jackson State because of Coach Prime,
because you came and recruited him,
right? And now you leave, and he's not at the level to just be able to easily transfer to another school,
right? Because again, even in the transfer portal, it's not like you can just say, okay, I'm gonna go here or I'm gonna go there. So like you said, the number one guy is kind of like the LeBron situation, right? As LeBron James, you can go where you want to go. Kevin Durant, you can go where you want to. When those type of guys decide, well, let me figure out what I'm gonna do next, they have the keys to the car.
Pat Bev, though,
you go.
Only if we need somebody to hit somebody, right? That's the only time we're hiring you, bro.
That's all. That's your purpose. Even like a Draymond Green, like, let's be real, his value is to the Warriors. Sure. He doesn't have that same value for every team in the league. There may be a couple teams I'd be like, we could, but he can't just say, okay, boom, I'm gonna go wherever. Now as a parent, I'm like you. I understand where some people are like, yo, this was supposed to be the blueprint for building up not only this, but other HBCUs.
Yeah.
Now what we're seeing is that the HBCU is really just going to be a building block for your career. So now you're going to get parents who are like, you know what? I don't care if, first of all, there's not another Deion, right?
Right.
So there isn't another comparable person who you're going to see was the best in their field and actually did a good job of coaching. Maybe. I'm not saying, I'm saying it's highly unlikely that you'll get like a Jerry Rice,
right,
a Tom Brady, someone a Lawrence Taylor,
right,
to take that and be good at it. Because the problem becomes a lot of the guys who were really good that doesn't translate well into coaching. It's rare.
Their football IQ is not as comprehensive.
So that's what I'm saying. Deion is not saying he's the only one, but there's not a whole lot of them. So even when you get that, parents are probably now going to be like, well, how long are you staying? Because I don't want to invest my kid into this. Because like you said, the problem with going to any school is if you're not playing top level competition, you're not getting seen. People,
then why am I here?
Even the scouts are looking at it like, yeah, he looks good, but who is he playing?
Right.
So we're not even seeing him up against NFL caliber talent because of where he's playing. He may be good. He may just leap off the page. Right. But now we got to see him.
And it's got to be specific like roles to be able to really shine at the HBCU level. And it's not because HBCUs can't do it, but if everyone is playing elsewhere, if all the top talent is playing elsewhere.
Right. And I'm a scout. I'm going where I can see 10 people playing today.
Case in point, right? Like one of the reasons why so many companies recruit at like a Howard or even at HBCU in general for company-wide stuff is because they realize like, okay, I know I can get the best black someone from Harvard or from Yale or from Brown or from Cornell. Right. But that's like a couple out of a whole sea of white people. Right. And a whole sea of Asian people. Right. I can go to an HBCU and I have a plethora.
You have options.
Right. Right. So it might not be the best. And a lot of times it is the best, but it might not be the best, but I have a bigger pool to pull from when I'm looking for diversity hires.
Exactly.
Right? So, like it's the same concept.
Right. So, like I said, I don't knock Deion, but I understand the people who are upset. And I definitely understand from the standpoint of the school. And now we have to wait and see. A couple years down the line, are they still going to get top recruits? Sure. Are any of these are HBCUs now going to be more on the map? Or are we just going to go back to the norm? And in a couple of years, we can sit back and say, well, no, Coach Deion knew what he was doing. He did build the blueprint and it is still working. Or, damn, he's doing well, but
I honestly have no dog in the fight. Now, if this was Howard,
no, I mean,
I'm telling you right now, if this was Howard,
you'd be pissed.
So I'm pissed. Deion would have like a whole sea of people, like messing up that entire Colorado bid. Like Colorado wasn't working, bro. It wasn't working if he did this to Howard. He can do that to Jackson State because it's not the Mecca. I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying. I don't care.
And when I say y'all obnoxious, you say how? You had the nerve to ask me one day, like,
I don't think we're that obnoxious. I mean, you don't have to agree. I don't think we're that obnoxious.
So, Jerry Jones. So why are we talking football? Jerry Jones. Jerry. So LeBron didn't call him out. Jerry Jones had the picture from when he was 14, and he was with the group of white kids blocking the black kids in Arkansas from entering the high school when they were trying to desegregate the school. Right. And LeBron James, and at first I didn't have an opinion one way or the next about this. I was like, well, this was a million years ago. He was 14. He was a 14-year-old kid in Arkansas. Right. So
one of the most racist states
in the 50s. Union. I'm like,
now, like,
right, but that's what I'm saying, like, in the 50s. Right. So I was like, dog, even if you're telling me Jerry Jones was possibly racist back then, or like, I'm not quick to call anyone racist yet, just because I feel like it's kind of like the conversation we had with like the whole anti-Semitic thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, if every time someone does something, we automatically label them a racist.
Right.
We start to kind of lose the impact when some racist stuff does happen.
Yeah.
So let's look at the whole picture, right? And I'm really not about to waste the time and energy to get mad at what a 14-year-old kid does. I'm just not.
Sure.
Not what he did in the 50s.
Right.
When today is here right now.
I mean, I'll take it before you continue. I'll take it a step further. I think that like the fact that he's 14 at the time, like his brain isn't even fully developed yet. Like kids at that age are so easily influenced.
Right.
Like they want to fit in. Like you can technically you can be bullied for like not being a part of the group. Like there's so many factors. And at that point.
And at the end of the day, like when you think about it, I don't want to be judged now for anything I did when I was 14. I don't want anybody to look at things that I did when I was 14 and be like, that's who you are now. And I'm not 80. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like, when I say, okay, I just did not care enough to be upset about this picture. But LeBron raised a very valid point. Yeah. He was like, why haven't y'all asked me anything about Jerry Jones? Like, because y'all asked me about Kyrie.
Sure.
They had asked him about Kaepernick. That was NFL. Because people were like, well, it's the NFL, not the NBA. But they had asked him about Kaepernick. He voiced
that was the whole shut up and dribble era.
Right. He brought up his opinion that he used to be a big Cowboys fan.
Yes. He
didn't like the Cowboys stance on the whole kneeling thing. So he's like, I'm falling back from that. And he just mentioned that, time after I've been out here a couple interviews and nobody's asked me my thoughts on it, but y'all would ask me about everything else. So I did find that interesting. I felt like LeBron had a very valid point that the media was really kind of soft-handing this situation where it was like
making Kanye and Kyrie sound a little valid in that one.
No,
like again, I'm not saying across the board, but like from the standpoint that you talk about this one group,
right?
Everybody got uproar about it,
right?
But then outside of that, where's the same energy?
Right. Now I could say, I don't even know if I'm playing devil's advocate. I could say I understand where the media members might also be saying, okay, but what is the angle here? Because again, even for me, I dropped it so quickly because I was like, yes, a picture when he was 14. Like, he probably was racist. He might still be. No, like, let's be real, though.
Very likely he's still racist.
He might still be racist now, but
right.
I can't put the time and energy into a picture from the 50s right now. Now, I was even more of the mindset that, I was looking at how he handled the kneeling with the Cowboys, where he was very adamant, like, if anybody kneels, you won't be playing, right? So I'm like,
seems kind of racist to me.
It definitely seems super insensitive because at the end of the day, I get it, all white people in this flag and that anthem, and when you conflate that with the thought of disrespecting the military or whatever, and they've decided to adopt that argument and not actually pay attention to what was actually being said, so you are changing the narrative.
Sure.
Okay, but if you are the owner of a team full of black men at a time where black men are telling you that they're in crisis, and you're showing that you don't care, that you're like, I don't give a shit who gets killed or dies or whatever, you better not kneel when that song plays. That to me is like, oh,
racist.
I ain't gonna call you racist. I'm just not messing with you. Like, I don't know if you are or you're not. I don't even care if you are or you're not. But you show me where you stand, because like we always say, I don't even know if you are or you aren't, but you show me where you stand on the side of the argument and you stand over there, cool. It's like, I don't believe every Trump supporter is racist at all. But I'm like, if you're showing me where you stand on this side of the debate, cool, stay over there. You know what I'm saying? So I would even give you, that was a more recent example of behavior from him to latch onto. Not this, but even his excuse. Did you hear his excuse today on the radio?
Of course I did. And like, so when I heard it originally, I was like, oh, there's probably more. Like when I was listening, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm waiting for it. And all he talks about is, oh, I love LeBron.
Right.
And when I heard LeBron loved the Cowboys, I'd maybe burst at my seams.
Yeah. I thought he'd make a great tight end.
Which, in itself. You saw a black man and the size of him and said, you know what? Based off the way he plays basketball,
well, no, I
could see him being.
I think it originated with LeBron saying that.
Don't care.
I know, but I'm just saying. I'm just being fair. I'm not gonna pretend like Jerry Jones
being fair.
Created that. He didn't create that narrative.
I don't care. He decided to use it.
He did.
Right. And
but it wasn't.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter for me. Doesn't matter. End of the day, the motherfucker didn't say shit. Other than that,
he did not comment. He didn't mention.
Like he literally could have just said, "Yo, I totally denounced racism. I have an entire team of people that I love. Not even I got an entire team of black people.
Right.
I got an entire team of folks that I love that place my organization, that we break bread. Blah, 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 blah. Nah, know what he say? I love LeBron. I don't got nothing against LeBron.
Right. And you know what the funny part was? All LeBron said was, I wonder why y'all haven't asked me any questions. So LeBron didn't even actually say anything nice. So all Jerry Jones had to say was, if he probably never even listened to, someone probably just told him, hey, LeBron's talking shit about you. He's like, okay, who's LeBron? You know what I mean? Like, because if he had actually listened to what LeBron said, he'd been like, no, LeBron has a
valid point.
If you guys are asking him questions that I have made the news because of something that happened that I've addressed, it is fair for him to wonder why you're not asking him.
Yeah.
That doesn't indict you at all.
At all. And honestly.
And you're actually answering the question you're being asked.
And from a PR standpoint, I mean, he could have hired me. I could have been like, yo, all you got to do is say, even if you don't want to denounce being there, he could have just said something along the lines that I'm just glad that we're not in the same place that I was when I was 14 in that picture.
So, yeah, something along
the lines of progress.
Right. But
nah, my man didn't say shit.
Because you know what the problem is? When you're a 70-something-year-old billionaire that made your money pre-football, right? And then you're owner of the most valuable team in sports.
Sure.
Do you really care? Like, let's be real. Let's think about it.
No,
you think Jerry Jones cares? He does.
You're spot on.
He absolutely does.
He don't give a fuck.
And not to mention, he's not like one of these lower levels. He is the most powerful owner.
Oh, without doubt.
Like, it's him and Kraft.
Yeah.
That's the top of the mountain. Yeah. So even if the other owners got mad, he's like,
and then he owns America's favorite fucking team. Like,
yeah, he's like, guys,
like, it's money and legacy.
Like, guys, I'm not apologizing. I'm not, like, when Jay Will called out for him to denounce racism, I was like, sir, he doesn't even watch First Take. First of all, like, he's not gonna see
Jay Will had so much feminine energy. I hate to say that about guys, but like, he had so much feminine energy.
He was
in the way, because the thing is, I had no problem with what he was saying.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Like, I rock with it, but it was the facial expressions, the antics.
But it was more of like what he wanted. To me, it was, okay, you want Jerry Jones to denounce racism. To what end?
Right.
Like if he comes out and does it, what does that do? Because it's kind of like how people, when Kyrie apologized and people are like, oh, but he doesn't mean it. Okay, but what more do you want?
Right.
You wanted an apology, you got it. You know? So, okay, if Jerry Jones comes out and said, I denounce racism in all its forms. Click, and you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you going to say? Oh, that wasn't since. No, like, you're asking for something that isn't going to bring you any absolution.
Sure.
It's not going to change anything. It's not going to eradicate that picture, and it's not going to add more black coaches to the league. So what do you want? You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you just want to hear the words. And that to me is where the quote unquote feminine energy kind of comes from. And I'm not saying he had feminine energy, but I'm saying
But it was the antics.
It was like,
it was one of the videos like, I want it, bro.
Like,
calm that shit down. Calm that shit down.
Yeah, I was sitting there like, this has, okay, you want to hear it? Cool. He's not going to do it.
Right.
And honestly, where he's at, and I'm not even absolving Jerry Jones, I'm just saying, unless you hold some sort of power over him
he's
somewhere.
Not gonna do it.
And nobody that I can think of actually holds any kind of like influence, even as advertisers. Because let's say the advertisers, right, he could tomorrow stop doing all this football shit.
Goodell could probably get him to say it.
And I don't think that he can. And here,
when I say he could, I'm not saying that he would.
Right.
But
he's probably the only person
that
can
he has the most influence.
Right. He's probably the only person that would be willing to make the phone call and ask. And he would also, I don't know Jerry Jones, I can see him getting hung up on. Like the way he dismissed those radio announcers, he's like, I answered the question.
Right.
That was my response. Like, and they moved on. They were like,
Goodell would have to promise some shit for him. Like, it had to be some strategic shit. Like, I can get you this if you just do this, please.
Right. It would have to be, dog, Super Bowl. You want it? I got the refs.
Right. Like,
it would have to be that.
I wasn't going to say it that way.
Right. It would have to be like, all right, this year's Super Bowl. You want it? I got 3 refs that are down.
I just need you to fucking announce
I just need you to say that shit today. I got these 3 refs will be assigned to all your games.
On first take, please.
Right. Like that, call them video chat so they can see your face, and Super Bowl.
And it can't be AI.
Yeah, Super Bowl is yours this year, guaranteed, no questions asked. We will do what needs to be done. I got the refs in pocket right now. So, I think we're gonna end on this, boy. I was gonna call him your boy.
Thank you for not. I appreciate you for not.
And I think I've decided that his antics are to the point where it's almost like it's impossible to not mention him at some point.
So I want to put a pause in this, a pin in this for a second, and say that, when we initially started talking about this episode, and I said, hey, I know we don't want to, but I think we got to talk about him. And you were like, fuck that. I don't want to talk about him. I'm paraphrasing.
Right. So
I don't want to fucking talk about him.
So you stopped me to paraphrase it correctly.
I don't want to fucking talk about him.
We could have just.
And whatever. But then now we're here.
Right. You know why? Because.
They do something extra. Because I don't think anything extra has been done to the point where it's like, okay, it makes sense. No, I'm not saying he didn't do anything more. I'm just saying it wasn't so much more from the last time we talked about this shit. Yeah, look up your shit.
You don't think so? Because you don't think so. All right, cool. Let's say for the sake of argument, I'm going to agree with you, right? And say, you know what? He didn't do that much. I thought that a week ago. I thought that.
It wasn't even a full week ago.
Right. I'm saying a week ago, sure. Couple days, moving on. Then this morning. Am I the only one who thinks Elon could be half Chinese? Have you ever seen his pics as a child? Take the Chinese. No, bro. Take a Chinese. No, bro. Let me finish.
I read it.
Take a Chinese genius, mate them with a South African supermodel, and we have Elon. I say an Elon because they've probably made 10 to 30 Elons, and he's the first genetic hybrid that stuck. Well, let's not forget about Obama. I'm sorry for using curse words in church, but I don't have another word for Obama yet. Yay 24, let's unify and find out. And then because this was the post, and his caption read, because he posted this yesterday, on Jay-Z's birthday, future president of the United States, Ye, uses Mark Zuckerberg's platform to incite a mass investigation of Elon Musk's childhood photos in the midst of Balenciaga Gate. I call this the theory of everything. Problem solved, praise God. Nah, bro.
So I read all of that this morning.
That word vomit there, son.
I read all of it this morning. And I still stand by what I said. Not that he doesn't still do extremely erratic, stupid shit. I'm just saying that isn't that out of character based off of what we've been discussing over the last couple of days anyway. Right. That's all I'm saying. Right.
So here's the breakdown, right? Since we last talked, he announced he was... No, bro.
Go for it.
Since we last talked, he announced he's running for president. Mm-hmm. He got a noted white supremacist and Holocaust denier, Nick Fuentes, together to go to Mar-a-Lago to have dinner with Trump.
And at which point to be his running mate.
At which point he asked Trump to drop out of the race and be his vice president.
You know the size of the balls you have to ask Trump to be the vice president? Trump.
Dog, do you know?
It would be easier to ask the sitting president, Biden, to be your running mate. It would make more sense for him to have asked him.
Yeah, no, agreed. 100% agreed. But then you show up with Nick Fuentes, a noted white nationalist Holocaust denier, right?
My nigga Trump went, something's wrong with this guy.
Then you jump on TV and you say that celebrities are controlled for not immediately denouncing Balenciaga, we ain't even gonna get into Balenciaga Gate today because we just don't have time for that shit show. We may get to that another episode. But you mentioned that celebrities are controlled for not denouncing Balenciaga. Then you go on Alex Jones. Then you say you liked Hitler. Nazis weren't that bad.
You lied about shit that Hitler invented.
He literally did not correct Alex Jones when he said
nigger.
Right. And when he said, when he said that, when he compared the reparations people to actual Nazis, you only corrected Alex Jones when he talked bad about Nazis and Hitlers. Said, we don't talk bad about them here. I love everybody. Then went and did a bunch of posts bigging up Balenciaga, who you just last week said that celebrities are controlled. Bro.
He's unhinged.
Bruh.
But I said it before. We got to talk about the dude because he's not doing shit. And it's only because he talks about the hybrid between an Asian and a damn South African.
Because it's so...
that now it's like, okay, we got to talk about it.
Because here's the thing, right? No. It was just this buildup and culmination of like, every day was something else. And then today is like, wait, where did this Elon Musk... Because remember, he posted...
He got suspended.
That's what I was going to say. He posted what looked like a Star of David with a swastika inside of it. And Elon was like, Elon, who just reinstated Trump.
Dog. You know the level of bullshit you got to be on for Trump to be reinstated and then for you to get suspended?
Bruh. So I was like, nah, yo, something's not right.
He's a cockhole.
But as was always the case, every time I start to say to myself, well, you know what? This is it. Like at some point, people are going to be like, nah, he can't be right in the head. And you get most people starting to think like that.
There's always people who will defend him.
Dog, I go to the comments because I'm always curious to see what the sheeple are saying.
Yeah, I'm not.
And I was like, when Christ Jesus turned water into wine, skip down a little bit. Because as soon as he started with that, I was like, hang on, where is this going? He was like, there were some untold events that happened, which in the course of that happens in our everyday life. Some people called him a magician. Some people ran away. And some people couldn't stand his sight, while some started to call him derogatory names. The majority feast in Christ, while the minority haters, unbelievers started plotting his downfall. And I was like, wait a minute, is this dude about to compare Kanye to Jesus Christ? So then I realized, yo, these are the people that get pulled into cults. Like, I figured, like, when I wonder, like, yo, how did they get them people to drink that juice, yo? Or how do people get people to do some of the things they do in cults? And then I see posts like this, dog. And this is just like, I thought it was like, nah, this is satire. He's being funny. He's being sarcastic. He was like, no, whether you have a genius or a good star around you, there will always be negative energy. Kanye West is no ordinary man. Whatever he says may or may not make sense and have meaning to you, but you'd realize sooner or later how dumb you were to ever doubt his words. Some people's edgy and personality is too much for this world to comprehend.
There's not one fucking thing that Kanye has said in the last 10 years that I can say, you know what? He was right. And I didn't agree with it, and now he's right.
You know what? I wouldn't even go that far. I think the problem is every so often, like if he's having a long just series of word vomit, there will be things in there that are true.
Yeah,
not necessarily that
a broken clock is right twice a day.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Not necessarily that he's right, but it's like you can't just lie all the time. So there are some things that you said that, yes, that's true. That's a factual statement. That's a factual statement. But the overall message is batshit crazy.
But that's my point though, right? There's nothing that he has said that I was like, that's bullshit, and then came around afterwards and I've been like, oh shit, I see he said
that. Same. 100%.
That's my point.
100%. I've never done that.
That's my point.
I've never, and I can go back, I've never sat there and been like, you know what, I see Kanye. Like how sometimes I feel like Thanos was right. I've never thought that Kanye was right. I've thought Thanos made more sense than Kanye. To this day, I'd be like, yeah,
I will say this. Like the one
Thanos wasn't right.
The one thing I'll say is that there have been times where, and you just alluded to it, where he says things, and the way he says it is so jarring, which I'm like, people are gonna miss
the point
that he's making,
right?
Because the point he's making is right. It's just that his delivery is shit,
right? And not only is his delivery shit, he oftentimes goes for shock value. Like, I don't even think it's that he has shit. I think it's definitely purposely done like that because I'll give him this. Like you said last time that Trump is a genius marketer. I think Kanye is too. He is just really good.
He's just following the Trump model.
Right. But I think, how do I put it? I think it's easy. Most people are not willing to tarnish their reputation for popularity.
Sure.
Because I think anyone can go for shock value.
Right.
But most people are like, no, I'm not going to make myself the villain just for popularity.
Right. Most people want to be liked anyway.
Right. So if you look at even like Balenciaga, I think a lot of what Balenciaga does is shock value. And again, we don't got to get into detail, but it's like, I think their goal is always just for the headlines. So they know that this is going to put us in the spotlight, positive or negative, for the next couple of news cycles.
Sure.
And as long as it does,
people gonna buy our shit.
They gonna buy our stuff. So they would rather take that negative backlash in the immediacy, knowing that it keeps them. It's a free way to stay in the news cycle.
Yeah.
Kanye just lives in that world now, where like he says stuff strictly for shock value. Like when he sat there and thought this Elon Musk thing, and decided to write it and then screenshot it and then post it on a different platform. I think that was like, I need to make sure as many people see this foolishness. Oh, and I missed when I really decided we was going to talk about Kanye. When he posted a picture of Chris Paul. Talk about, oh, by the way, I caught this person with Kim. Good night. I completely forgot about it. Dog, he did so much in this week.
Yeah.
It was a lot. Somebody was like, Kanye got done with a long day anti-Semitism to out Chris Paul for sleeping with Kim.
And then I found out later on that like sources were like, no, that's not true. Now, I mean, really and truly, who knows? But but I think the big because of course,
Chris Paul isn't not gonna admit to it. You know what I'm saying?
But the bigger piece for me is he said it like it was a mic drop moment, but in actuality, let's just say it was true. You telling on yourself.
Yeah.
You telling the world that while you're with your wife, you fucked up enough that she went and fucked somebody else. Like
I think like the goal is always, okay, I'm gonna try to shame Kim, and
you can't shame somebody who fucking put a sex tape out and got dick down and got popular off that shit.
That's what I'm saying. His goal was,
no offense, Kim.
Right. His goal is, I'm gonna try to shame Kim, try to make her look bad. Because you notice every time there's a problem with the kids, it's always the Kardashians are evil and they're doing this to the black man. So he always groups them as this evil conglomerate.
Like making a nigga pay $200,000 a month.
And then, and I forgot that too.
Yo, as a dad who I pay for my kids, I have no problem paying for my kids, but I ain't gonna lie, like I'd rather actively pay for shit than be forced to pay for shit. When I saw that $200,000 like price tag, I was like, it's kind of what you get, my nigga.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, granted, also from what I understand, it was amicable because for some reason the cost of raising those kids is about $400,000 a month. So they're really splitting it in half, which is fucking nuts to me in general. But like,
you know, it's always crazy when I hear that and people are like, oh, but you know, they live a different lifestyle, blah, blah, blah. It's like, right. But those are choices.
There's no fucking lifestyle worth $400,000 a month for a child.
And that's what I'm saying.
Or four children have money.
Is it 4 or 3?
I don't fucking know.
I know this.
It doesn't matter. Yo, 10 kids, $400,000 a month.
Right. And I'm like, I get it. Like you're a billionaire, millionaires, you know, you guys got money. So, but those lifestyles are chosen. Like, and I'm not saying that you should downgrade their lifestyle. You worked hard. No, that's what I'm saying. You've worked hard. You've made your money. You choose however you want to, whatever level of lavishness you want to give your kids because you've earned that money to do that. But in reality, we both know that it does not cost that much to raise a kid. It costs that much when you're choosing to raise them in that lifestyle. And that's fine. You're in a tax bracket above mine. I don't even really care. If I had the money, I'd probably be doing the same thing. So
I would fucking not.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, if I had the money that was just my life, I probably would. It would be like Assad, like how Khaled had Assad. But I'd be so extra, son. So extra.
Like I can afford more than I do right now, and I'm just not doing it because for me it has more to do with understanding the value of money.
No, I get it.
You know what I mean? So,
I get it. I just think that at a certain level,
it's just
not even that you don't care no more. At a certain level, it's a different type of money. Like it's a different type of money.
I'd rather give it to charity.
I hear you. And you know, there are some people who are like Jackie Chan has said he's not leaving his kid any money.
I'm gonna leave mine a little bit.
He said he's donating. He's like, if I have to leave you money, then you don't.
I didn't do my job.
Right. So now his kid has his own, but he's like, all this money. And they listed a bunch of celebrities who have said this, who have done the same thing. Yeah. Like when they passed, they said their money is going into different charitable organizations. Like their kids are not getting it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that either. Like if I was to make it, no, my kid would.
I'm not gonna be that bad, but like they're not getting it all.
Nah,
they're not.
Mine's getting everything, and
that's cool.
Yeah, mine's getting.
For me, I'm like I do believe in exactly what Jackie Chan was saying, right? Like if I have to leave you money, then that means I didn't do my job in positioning you to like create it yourself.
No, absolutely.
Right. So, but I mean, I definitely do plan on leaving.
And I think and I think that there's a it's twofold because I also see it from the standpoint of now if I did position you correctly and I see that you're doing well, I'm still probably gonna leave it.
So I'm way more willing to do it at that point.
Right. That's what I'm saying because I'll know that okay, I set you up and I'm not about to leave it. And you're gonna go blow it on. You're not gonna put it all on black when you get to Vegas, right? But at the same time, I can look and see what you're doing.
Yeah.
And again, we're talking a level of money that I don't have, but I'm talking like
neither of us do.
Right. But I'm saying at that celebrity level, I understand the different philosophies from different entertainers and celebrities and just millionaires and billionaires when they say how they're gonna handle doing stuff for their kids. And honestly, if you can set them up in positions to succeed, well, you don't have to leave it because no, he's got his own. He's good. Yeah. So I can, like Mackenzie Scott, she's just gives away money every month. It's like, 100-something million to this organization or whatever. I feel like every time, what I love is every time she makes the news, it's because she's giving someone some money.
I love it.
And she's like pledged to like give, after getting the money in her divorce settlement, she's like, yeah, I'm giving most of this away. Like I have no use.
Because she understands that she doesn't need it.
Right. She's like, I can live. And that's where it comes down to that conversation with the cost of raising a kid. Like you understand that you can live on less. You don't have to because you've earned it. Right. So by all means, once you've earned a certain level, live the life you choose to. But you can live on less. Like 50. 50's child support is like $6,700 a month or something like that. Granted, for one kid. Yeah. Yeah, like his son Marquise.
I remember seeing. I can't remember what the number was, but I know
he was complaining. He was complaining that it's not enough, right?
But I think isn't that son past child support age? Like he was still like subsidizing the kid's life,
right?
But he was outside of child support.
He might have been like in his 20s or something, early 20s,
which made it worse. Like
because he was complaining that this ain't enough, and folks was like,
"What do you?" Shouldn't you be doing something?
Right. Like, you're just getting this money.
Right.
To do nothing. So you can still legit go out and just make bread. And it's not like you making that bread.
And not only that, it's not even taxed because you're just getting
money. You're just getting it. So get off the internet right now. So like, get the fuck. Get off the internet.
It doesn't matter how much your daddy has.
Right. These ain't even... Right. That's the thing. How much he has is irrelevant to the fact that you are making more than enough to survive on.
Right.
So
entitlement.
And you're old enough and able-bodied enough to go make your own.
Better fucking become an actor on one of his shows.
So that's the thing. You know 50 ain't putting on. 50 don't like that. Anyway. 50 ain't put. 50 would do him like his like Sean in Power.
Pop him.
You ain't my son anyway.
Yo, this is Dre.
All right, so
he's not gonna say it.
Right, because you just jump into the
I'm fucking jumping to the end, man.
Yo, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Guys Unpacked podcast. Make sure that you follow us on all social media platforms. Click the link if you enjoyed the episode. Subscribe. We got more episodes coming. We're definitely going to take a break over the holidays. So we'll probably get one more episode in.
Yeah, at least one more.
get at least one more episode in, then we'll take a little break for the holidays. So if you guys have any topics you want to hear us discuss, feel free, DM us, email us, let us know what you want to hear.
Don't DM me.
As usual. And as always,
this is Dre.
This is Rich, and we are out.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you check them all out on YouTube at Guys Unpacked.
And follow us on all social media platforms at Guys Unpacked.